On the 9th of September 2025, Israel took its "I will do as I see fit" maniacal battle posture to an unprecedented level. To hell with the principles of accountability or of proportionality. 15 Israeli fighter jets bombed a residential compound in Doha, capital of Qatar. It was an unprovoked, gratuitous act. Qatar was actually hosting a mediated discussion on a US proposed ceasefire hostage deal. The target for the Israeli jets was the Hamas political leaders who were discussing the US proposal. Ironically, none of them was among the 6 persons killed. One of the killed was a Qatari security officer. To Israel, he's just collateral damage. Qatar condemned the attack as state terrorism and a flagrant violation of its sovereignty. Other Arab states have done so likewise. I'm personally heartened that Singapore has chosen not to remain silent. The government statement said that the strikes by Israel are an egregious and dangerous action that undermine ongoing ceasefire negotiations and the release of hostages. My question is this: was Netanyahu's actions predicated by an aim to scuttle these negotiations? Singapore also said it stands in solidarity with Qatar. Singapore doesn't make such statements lightly, especially when it has a valued relationship with one or two of the parties, in this case with Israel and with Qatar. Singapore's position also lines up with its core principle, which prioritizes a rule-based order and non-violation of sovereign rights. Now, what makes this incident different is that Qatar is a friend of the USA, a non-NATO US ally. It hosts US military facilities. Qatar is not Gaza, it's not Syria or Lebanon. This is why President Trump gave an unprecedented assurance to the Emir of Qatar that such a thing will not happen again on their soil. Now, if we take Trump's statement at face value, it suggests that the US does have restraining power over Israel. What it also means is that Trump has chosen not to use it thus far in restraining Israeli actions in Gaza. Qatar is an exception. Or is this a false promise because the US actually does not have the power to restrain Israel? Now, in his call with Netanyahu, President Trump stressed that the US strategic interests are not served by such attacks on allies. What this also means is that Israeli attacks on non-US allies are not of concern to the US. The principal considerations are actually strategic in nature, not humanitarian, not legal. President Trump has a track record of not having friends for too long. Often his interests and actions appear to be personal and impulsive. This unilateral action by Israel has seriously strained relations with Gulf states who are allies, such as Kuwait and Bahrain. Is Trump likely to see this as Netanyahu being impertinent? If so, is this an inflection point in their relationship? To me, Netanyahu is a war prime minister. He needs to feed the war machinery to retain power. If the war ends, he would probably lose his power base and immunity. He is likely to be tried for war crimes. This is why dictators hold on to power. Has Netanyahu crossed the line this time? If so, he may not have the echo from the USA or even from within Israel. Could this mark the beginning of the endgame for Prime Minister Netanyahu?